To my market update, and of course this update is extremely important because we have reached a critical level for the tether dominance. And if you've been following the channel, then you have been tracking this level with me in real time, right? And I don't make videos often. I generally make videos at key points like 1618, reset at 1. So these videos have like a month gap between them generally, but as we approach swiftly, I might add, the 1618 of this level, I would implore you to check out my previous video, and I go over why this level is so important, and I'm drawing these fib levels out in real time just so you see it's a repeatable thing. I'm taking the swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, and it produces a 1618. The initial 1618 is drawn from the highest point of this range move, same with this point, and it's projected down. At all times, the tether dominance always comes back to 1 at some point. Whether or not it produces a continuation is a low probability. In this circumstance, it has produced a continuation, and as explained in my previous video, will we get a continuation for the third time without a large major pullback? Well, that would be a first. So let me draw all these out first so we can sort of see. This one is actually a very large 1618, and it extends further. There's a bigger deviation over 1618, but still the level retains its resistance nevertheless, or support rather, in this context. Same with this. This is similar to the context now, as mentioned before, swing high, swing low. And every time that level holds, right? That touch is literally the top of the previous market with a retest that was around 2% above the high. And I can go on and on, the first swing that's generated, right? So now that you've seen me draw these all out, you can see that there's only one instance that I can see here that has produced that double drive. Now, why am I mentioning like that 1618 is a very, very key level on the tether dominance? Because it always rejects back to 1, therefore there's potentially going to be a large-ish pullback in the not too distant future, probably, or some ranging that occurs for Bitcoin, which could mean two things, right? It could mean that alts continue to expand in terms of reaching a certain point, which I will show after I make my point. Or alternatively, there will be a sharp pullback on everything where alts nuke like 40% or something, and Bitcoin pulls back like to $111,000, which is where like some bids are placed at the moment on coin margin, right? But that's besides the point. Back to the charts and what you guys are probably here for in terms of my demo, right? As you can see here, I'll actually... So these are my positions at the moment. I got rid of Trump. Well, I got stopped out and break even, but did manage to long uni again when I woke up, and it's pushed up to around 14,000, and you can see all trades here, and I will flick through so you can see the stop losses on everything. The stop loss is so low because I tried adding, there's a bit of context there, but that's where my stop is for BTC. Dots, break even, link, break even, TIA, just opened it not too long ago, stops there, and BitTensor added a little bit of size, literally at these lows, right? But all stops are here. So in terms of like where this might be going, I'm just showing you guys that just so you know that I am bullish, obviously have been bullish, and that's how I've been positioned. But something worth noting at the moment is the charts you see in front of you, right? Obviously some charts will be lagging behind a tad in terms of where their December to July range rebound zone may lie, like in terms of here. Let me show you. For DOT, the rebound zone, the 0618 in reverse, is quite far away, right? And if you're looking at charts that have, I guess, non-conforming rebound zones, then it might be hard to have this type of perspective where you need to look at different points of confluence in terms of the fibs across the market on major tokens, such as your Doges, your Links, and your Solanas. When things are starting to line up very closely, some things are going to reach the rebound zone faster than others, such as Say, as an example. Let's draw here. You can see Say has already reached its rebound zone, and if we noted on, if we take note on USDT dominance, we can see that the 1618 level is very close, right? Does it mean that Say can't break this level? Possibly, and that level I think might be limited to 0786, but this would be potentially sort of finished for the time being unless there's some sort of drive past 1618 on tether dominance, which is unlikely. At the moment, there's like a 0% strike rate if it were to have a large continuation. Sure, we can have some sort of extended deviation beyond the 1618. However, it is likely to be exhaustive, where there's a higher amount of risk involved in those, in that scenario in particular. But what we do see here are clear levels of mid ranges on your Solana, your Link, your Doge. Obviously, you see the mid range here on Say as well. These are fast approaching as we may get a correction on the market, or there's a high probable correction coming soon. And that might sound scary, because you know what, like, it sort of is, because there isn't a guarantee that there's a continuation fully past these levels, right? It's going to be tricky. And what am I going to do? I mentioned previously that I'm just going to be taking a lot of profit when that level hits and there's confluence with like these rebound zones. So as we push into the rebound zones I'll open my trades here so you can sort of have a look at each one of these things. I will just take the profit on DOT as the other rebound zones are tagged, which I believe they should hit, at least the 0618. Same with TIA. But with Link, I have on the left side here. And with Uni, sorry, I forgot to put Uni on as well, because Uni has a very similar situation where the rebound zone is extremely close also, right? So these are obviously later longs that have been taken, and the volatility that is likely to come will be, quite random. Like if it does a reset to 1 on tether dominance, you could see pullbacks upwards of 30% that occur from the rebound zone. And should the market continue to be bullish from that one reset, or wherever it might be, it could even continue as well. Like I said, if there's like a range that's created within tether dominance where Bitcoin sort of just hovers around these levels. Apologies for this chart, it's pretty bad. But we might even see Bitcoin just hover around and then make a final push to 150. It's hard to say, because from my perspective, this has sort of been, I remember when I drew this, this yellow line was here, right? The actual tether dominance was where my green circle that I'm drawing right now is, and it's literally played out the exact way. And what did I write? After the 1618, the dominance resets to 1. What happens after that? Not sure. Could it go either way? Risk is high and lower EV at this stage of the cycle. So we're already in a situation where obviously it's a lower likely scenario to play out, one, and two, it's a high risk scenario as well, where there's like the final juice is being squeezed from this entire cycle. Like it's the final leg, right? Risk is super high. You would have obviously had higher expected value entering at the pivot lows here, where the most expected value lied. But at the moment, we're in a very tricky situation where you probably want to reduce exposure because it's a high risk area, right? I keep on saying this, and I'm going to probably cut uni, obviously. That's a good one to cut, probably around this level. It's like 25,000. I opened it this morning before breakfast, which is pretty nice. We got Link, which is poised to hit around 20, which is another like 15 or something. And wherever Dot and Tia end up being, I'll close as well, because I do think that it is a push, a final push that is currently underway. Well, we've got a RZ here for Tia, bit of a smaller position. I thought I'd just open it for fun because the chart is so negged, and I could be completely wrong because Ethereum is pushing so bloody hard right now, and that liquidity is going to be transferred into alts. But at the moment, we're looking at Tia hitting like that 2.4-ish area around here for a smallish profit. And I'll probably end up closing out Bitcoin as well until there's a bit more clarity. The only thing that I'll probably hold size on is BTC. And the liquidation for that is like, you know, pretty low. I think it's like all the way down here. And I do have stops in place in case the prices start to fall aggressively. So, what else was I going to look at? Apologies. What else was I going to look at? Ethereum. Ethereum is a special one right now, isn't it? I think it's a harder read on the dollar pair, but an easier read on the Bitcoin Ethereum pair. And it's something that I've addressed earlier on in my videos, where 2618 was the level to be watching. I did long at these lows and I took profit way too early, right? But that was actually the pivot point, and the target for me has been around the full rebound zone of this area, right? Of this area, which is approximately, let me pull full range, you know, an additional 50-60% against Bitcoin. And let's say Bitcoin hits, you know, around here. I'll just go 150 for argument's sake, but I think that we don't have much juice left in the tank with like what we're looking at here. I think we're almost topped out. So it's really like fucking worrying, guys, that this is like already here and everything is, it's good that things are pumping, but I thought that things would be a lot higher at this point, but they're not. So, gotta have to quell the price targets in your minds, and you just have to accept what the chart reads as. I think that's sort of it. Like, I don't think I have anything else to say other than just be careful at the moment before you like think about aping into, you know, tokens and, you know, thinking that, oh yeah, this is going to be all-time highs for this token. Because let's look at this structure for Pendle, right? Pendle's structure is not too dissimilar from BitTensor's at the moment, right? Let's have a look. BitTensor and Pendle, they've sort of made two highs previously, and now they're stuck in this small range. And can this go up? Sure, but if the bull market is over, it isn't impossible for charts like this to absolutely rip to the downside, right? As you can see with Ethereum here, it produces a similar structure of two highs, one lower than the other, similar to this, right? And a mid-range RZ, right? RZ 0618, 0618, right? And if we don't, close strongly above the 0618 anytime soon, which doesn't seem likely because there's so much resistance on tether dominance, it's not possible for us to start tumbling down this way, right? And taking out all those lows, and that's why my stops are in place, because that is a possibility, right? There's no guarantees that things will keep on going up, and I just need to address the very, very apparent risks. Am I going to stay risk on? Yeah, I am, because I do think that there is a bit more room that I've expected from Bitcoin. But am I going to be fully exposed as I am now? No, it doesn't make sense to be fully exposed once that level hits, because the probability isn't on the side, on our side in that circumstance. So yeah, just be careful, guys, and prepare for profit taking, in my opinion. Not financial advice, just heads up. Cheers.